Holy saints, who are gathered here? Let's look up in the good book. Let's see what it says. Yes, from Genesis to Revelation. His name is holy. And the seraphim say, holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. Lord, the earth is filled with his glory. And we lift his name on high. Come on!
Well, good evening. Sorry, I've obviously been experimenting with a video making app. I'm trying to get where I could, show pictures of stuff without actually having to, do everything live and spur of the moment. So anyway, so we'll just see how this goes. It's my first time. Take it easy on me. I'm just kidding, man. This video is going on Facebook where all my friends are, but it's also going on YouTube where things can get pretty vicious. Anyway, please excuse the ridiculous headset. I just want to make sure that my mama can hear me. My mama's watching, so everybody say hey to my mama. Anyway, so the purpose of what I'm trying to do here is things are getting kind of rough out there these days, and with everything going on, with the virus and all this, people are losing their jobs. A lot of places are shutting down, and people are finding themselves in dire straits that never have been before, and don't have a clue what to do. Now, I don't want y'all to get the wrong idea. I'm not doing this for. I'm not showing bushcraft survival. That's not what I'm here to do. Everybody can't do that, man. I mean, let's be real. You watch them shows on TV that they give a man $1 million if he makes it 100 days, man, and they, I mean, it's not as easy. It's not that easy. So if you want to go crawl on your belly with a knife in your teeth, and bushcraft you up some furniture, you go ahead. The purpose of what I'm trying to do is try to let people know that there are things you can do now to before you're too broke to do it. I mean, this stuff costs some money. The things I'm going to show you, it's not things that you can just do for free. They'll cost you some money. I'm just saying the tendency is when people find themselves in dire straits and they realize that they're fixing to lose their house and or whatever, what they tend to do is they take the last money they got and they just wait it out and they don't know what's going to happen, and they take the last money they got and they go spend it on a hotel room. And I don't know if you know it these days, but we just recently, my family was trying to find a hotel for a week for one of my kinfolks, and let me tell you, it's $500 a week. And whew, that's a lot of money. The days of the 150 a week and things like that for a hotel room, they're over. And not only that, but I've worked with people that try staying in hotels, and it's hard to get out of that trap once you're in it, because the hotel costs you $500. What you got left to save up to get out, to try to get yourself into somewhere? What can you do? I mean, it's hard to get out of the hotel room trap. I've been there before, and that's why that's part of the real. I've been there. I've done it a lot. So I hate to see anybody fall into a trap like that, and then you end up in the gutter anyway. So this video is not for Rambo. It's not for. I'm not going to show any bushcraft survival whatsoever. I'm just going to show regular Joe survival. That's your everyday feller, that a family man that don't have a clue what he's doing out here. Things that you can do for yourself now to prepare, so that if you do find yourself outdoors, it won't be so rough on you. And like I say, this stuff does cost a little bit. That's why I'm saying it's things that you can build up over a little bit of time. The things I'm fixing to show you, I've been collecting up. I get something here and there, whenever I get a few extra hours in. I got a little spare change. I'll save up my change bucket and whatever. I've done spent that change bucket so many times. Anyway, it's just things that you can get yourself here and there, so that when hard times do hit, and a lot of Christians believe that we'll be raptured before it comes time for Christians to have to go into hiding and stuff like that, and I do believe a rapture's coming. I just don't I don't necessarily agree with everybody on how bad things are going to get before that time. I mean, we tend to only think about where we live, you know, because to me it's not really cool to say, well, we're gonna be raptured before any of this happens, and well, you know, I know there's some people overseas right now that if you try to tell them that there are Christians being slaughtered over there, there are Christians in hiding right now, and they always have been, you know, so to to get it in your head that you gonna be raptured before anything bad happens to you, whereas there's Christians being beheaded and tortured right now, and they always have been. Well, you gonna tell them that did they miss the rapture? They weren't good enough to be raptured before bad things happen? No, Jesus never promised us peaceful endings. Every one of his disciples died pretty rough. I'll say for one. Anyway, the whole purpose is that you might find yourself in dire straits, and there's ways that you can prepare yourself. There's a few things that I feel like could make you very comfortable. So let's get started and see what I can show you. Now, look here, you can laugh at me all you want to, but I'm going to tell you what I feel like the number one thing in your survival kit, your regular Joe survival kit, needs to be the Word of God. Now, you laugh all you want to, but let me tell you something. A whole lot of your survival, when you out and you're homeless, a whole lot of it, whether you gonna make it or not, depends on your mental state. And anybody will tell you that, whether they believe in God or not. Any of these survival people, that they're going to tell you that your mental state is very extremely important, because once you ain't got no hope, you know, you ain't got no hope. This book contains hope. It is, this is the truth. Otherwise, I'd still be the guy that I used to be, and I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you now. It'd be every man for himself. But the Word of God, this is how we eat. This is what makes us strong, man. This is the truth right here. The truth, like you've never heard. And this is how we eat. This is how we stay strong. You can be down with absolutely nothing, and you've got this Word, and it'll give you hope. And hope is very important. Without Jesus Christ, I'll tell you now, you ain't got nothing, whether you think you do or not. You can gain the whole world and lose your soul. So what do you really have? So, yeah, number one on the list is the Holy Bible. And, you know, like I say before, to me, if you don't know anything about it, it might be better for you to get a version that's easier to read than the King James. Now, look, I don't want to get attacked by you King James people. I get it. I've always, I've argued with you before, but honestly, I get it. And I'll tell you why I get it. Some of these translations take things that are sacred and just turn them into like nothing. You know, when I was in prison, we didn't always get a regular Bible. A lot of times, most of what they got in there is like Jehovah's Witness Bibles and things like that. And one of them I was reading, and I was reading the part about where David, or the Lord's Prayer, Psalms 23. Okay, that's the part. I was reading the Psalms 23, and it says, "You anoint my head with oil." Well, this version just said, "You poured oil on my head." Now, listen, people in prison, they don't always have, the upbringings. Everybody ain't got the same upbringing. So I'm sitting there, and there's a man reading this, and he like, what? He poured oil on my head? That don't sound cool. What he poured oil on his head for? Instead of anointing, thou anointest my head with oil. All, beautiful and poetic. It just said, you poured oil on my head. And I'm like, oh, I get it. I get it. Okay, King James people. I understand your plight. But, like I've said before, I think if you know nothing about the Bible, it might be easier for you. It might be better for you to get a version that you can understand a little bit better. So that way you understand what's going on. You understand the gospel so that you can know what happened. Because lots of times, man, before I was saved, I was interested in it. But then, you open the King James, you get through a few these and thous, and put it back down because I have no clue. Even to this day, I know what the King James says right now, and I can't hardly read it because, but it is important. So the King James people, I understand what you're saying, and it is. But I'm just saying, if you know nothing about the Bible, it's the first important thing is that you understand what God has done for us. And then you can get you a King James, and you can go through there and nitpick it all you want to and create denominations and all that stuff that ends up happening. I ain't knocking anybody. I just, that's why I tell people, you read this for yourself. Don't just go by what somebody's telling you. People preach different things. You have no idea, where you're going to end up. I do know if you listen to it enough, it'll start, seeping in. So it's important to me if you read it for yourself so that you can have a personal experience with the Spirit, and the Spirit will guide you. If you put in the effort, and the Spirit will guide you, you'll Next thing you know, you'll be wanting to do videos because, you know, the Spirit's talking to you. So let's get on. And now, when you notice that you're getting in dire straits, my suggestion is not to spend that $500 on on the hotel room. You know, you might get you a week or two, and then you're penniless. You got nothing. Whereas $500 will get you just about all the stuff I'm about to show you. So let's start off is tents. All right, it's necessary to have a shelter. It is. Tents, they're cool. I've always liked tents. The problem is I've come to learn that no matter how good a tent that is, first off, if it don't say Coleman, it's probably gonna leak. Coleman makes a decent leak-proof tent, but nobody else I've seen really does. Now, tents, the material they're made out of, the longer they sit out in the sun, the longer you're out in the weather, they just start to deteriorate. You get leaks, and then it's hard to clean out the floors. Tents are hard to pack up. If they get a rip in them, there ain't really a whole lot you can do. So what I did is I went out, and this tent that I'm sitting in right now is made out of tarps. I took a 10 by 20 and made an A-frame out of it with a pole on either side. And even though I got these fancy poles here, I'll show you. I got these fancy military style poles there because the deal is, you know, I like motorcycles. So I like for everything to be able to pack up on my motorcycle. I like motorcycling and I like camping. My beloved bride, she is not that she don't like them, it's that her back's messed up and we never get to. Thus, I'm camped out right here in the front yard. No, I'm not living in here, my buddies. I don't want y'all worried. I'm not in the doghouse. I'm not living out here. But I do enjoy it, and I don't get to do it a whole lot. So, front yard's the best I can get. Front yard's what I'll take. I don't mind it. Anyway, so, after your Bible, here's what you need. You need a place to shelter yourself. So, tarps, man. I spent about $50 on the tarps I used for this tent. Now, even though it might look like I'm sitting in a pretty small space, I've got a lot of room in here. I'll give you a little panorama here. Over here, I've got my electricity setting behind me. I'll tell you about that. I've got my queen size air mattress with all the things that I'm about to show you on it. I mean, that's a queen size mattress. Over there, I've got enough room to put, you know, I can either, the reason that's empty is because I've got a couple options here. I can either put a TV out here since I'm at home right now, or if I was going out to, you know, a rally or something, right here I've got my wood stove. So if I was going out to, you know, like a motorcycle rally or something like that, I wouldn't necessarily take my TV, but there's plenty of space over there where I can park my motorcycle if I'd like to. So there's a lot of room in here, even though it doesn't look like it. I've got space enough to actually park my motorcycle in here if I needed to. So I've got my shelter taken care of, but there's something, look here now, people might knock me because, yeah, it costs about $150, but to me, you can't beat a wood stove. Now, it ain't gonna matter if you got you a tent or not if you're sitting there and you freeze to death, and it's getting cold, buddy. And so, you know, you can deal with propane heaters if you want to, you know, and that's what a lot of people do. They'll get them a little propane tent heater, you know. Well, let me tell you something about them. First off, they'll cost you anywhere from $50 on up to, you know, a couple $100. And second, they run through a bottle of that, you know, them little 1-pound bottles that you get at Walmart. They run through one of them every 2 hours. So, you know, you need 12 of them to get you through the day and the night. 12 bottles of propane, that's going to add up pretty quick. So, you can't really afford it, and they don't really do the job. You'll still be cold. Whereas you can get you a little wood stove like this one here. This one came from Sportsman's Guide. It's a guide gear, which I hope you can see that because I'm not even looking at the camera. So hopefully you can see that that's a guide gear, little small wood stove. Now the size of your wood stove is going to determine how big a shelter you can get. I mean, it ain't going to do you no good to get one that's too big for your heater, you know. These little jokers though, they do put out a lot of heat. I mean, you can make yourself a pretty good sized shelter and be nice and toasty with a good old wood heater. They don't use a whole lot of wood. It lasts for a long time, and you ain't got to worry about freezing to death. So that takes care of your shelter and a wood stove, which I say now you're talking about. I've got a total of about $200 right there in the shelter and the wood stove. So, and then they sell stove jacks that you just, you know, it's heat resisted up to like 800 and something degrees. And basically what you do is, I'll turn around, let you see. What you do is you just cut a hole in your tarp and you put that up there with safety pins or whatever you got. It's hard to find something that's going to stick when you put the heat to it. It's hard to find something that's going to stick. But anyway, that little stove jack right there costs like $10 online. And it does the job. A little bit of rainwater might leak in when it gets heavy, but it doesn't matter because it falls right down on the stove. Ooh, pardon me. And it immediately evaporates. So it's not really a bother. And it's cheap. And, you know, it gets the job done. So now we've got shelter, and we ain't going to freeze to death. There's something that's going to come even before that is you're going to get thirsty. Pretty much as soon as you realize you ain't got anywhere to go, your mouth's just going to instantly dry out. You're going to be like, oh my God, I have no way to get water or not. And, and then, first of all, I have no idea how to make it in the city. This for a country boy. If I was in the city and found myself homeless, I would head straight to the woods because that's where, that's home to me. The city, I know nothing about it. But getting water is going to be an issue, like immediately, and it's pretty much, you're most of you have got to do it. You've got to have a way to get water. Now, what I found is this. They got them live straws and stuff, and that's fine if you're by yourself. I'm not by myself. I've got a family I've got to think about too. So what I found is this right here. I found it online, and basically, it's just a little handheld pump. What you'll do is you drop this end right here, the little filter. You see that? You'll take it. You'll drop that down. I can drop this into a flat-out mud hole. No kidding. I mean, seriously, I can drop this into a mud hole and just pump it. And it pumps through this little handle, pump, and it pumps it right into a collapsible water bottle for you, so you can pump water out of a mud hole and have fresh, clear drinking water out of about any mud hole you can find available. It's nice to have a creek. I do have a creek down at the end of the driveway. I've also got some mud holes. I might demonstrate this thing for you so you know I'm telling you the truth. one day, not in this video. I've got too much I've got to say all at once. And so this I got it online. I think I might have paid $30 for it. It's good for around 750 gallons of water before you have to change the filter. It's not a bad idea to go ahead and get yourself a filter. But like I say, yeah, these things do cost a little bit of money, but in the end, you sure be glad you got them, because everybody else be out there worrying about how they gonna get water and how they gonna stay warm. So now you've got you a tarp shelter, you got your wood heater, you got your water purifying pump if you want some cold water. Now the cool thing about a wood stove is you can heat yourself with it. You can cook on it if you need to. You can and what you're gonna find to be one of the best things about it is you can keep you some hot bathing water. I don't know about you, but I do like to bathe with hot water if I can help it. If you ask my friends, they might disagree with you, but I do. Anyway, it can make a lot of difference in being comfortable and struggling is just having you some hot water to bathe on. So that's another reason for the wood stove. The wood stove pretty much covers a lot of things. It's going to keep you warm. It's going to give you a way to cook your food. It's going to give you a way to purify your water if need be. You can bring your water to a boil if you don't have one of these and you have to get some water from, wherever, you know. But at least with this little pump that I just showed you, you can get water just about everywhere. You can just about dig you a hole in the ground, and when you strike water, you can pump clear drinking water out of that. Now, when it comes to your food, now look, I had a buddy of mine tell me that none of this stuff was going to be worth no good if I didn't show how to salt and dry meat. Well, I have to disagree with my buddy. I love him very much. He's a good guy, always has been, but I'm going to have to disagree considering there are millions of vegetarians somehow thriving in the world. I am a meat eater. I've not had to kill one yet. I think it's important to have the means to do so. So therefore, I'm a convicted felon. I cannot have guns, but I do have a crossbow, and I do have a BB gun to shoot squirrels with, squirrels and rabbits, and I've got a crossbow to kill a deer with if need be. Now, right now, I don't have the need, so I'm not in no big hurry to kill one of the poor creatures. I think they're wonderful creatures. I enjoy seeing them when I pull up the driveway, but if I get hungry, they're delicious. I do enjoy eating them. So I do have the means to do so. You're gonna need a way to cook, and I got this little cheap mess kit right here from Walmart. It's an Ozark Trail mess kit. It's got this frying pan here, and then you open it up, and there's a boiler inside here for boiling water or cooking a soup in or whatever, and then you got your little frying pan and a lid on top of it. And that's done fine for me. I've been cooking my lunches at work to save money to buy stuff like this with for quite some time now, a couple years now, and it works good. It's stainless steel, so the aluminum, evidently aluminum's bad for you to eat out of. I don't study on that. Sometimes you ain't got no choice. A beggar can't be a chooser, And as far as food goes, now refrigeration is going to be a problem, and I can't help you with the refrigerator. I do use solar power, and I'll explain a little bit about that in a minute. But solar power, just what I've got here, not going to be able to run a refrigerator off of it. Okay, so you have to find alternatives, and although I don't, I'm not planning to salt and dry no meat right now. I do need my protein, so this coffee can right here is full of powdered eggs. Powdered eggs, people hear it and they say, "Ooh, yuck, gross." But let me tell you something: you find yourself out in the woods and you hungry, they are regular. It's not synthetic eggs. All it is scrambled eggs that have been cooked and dried out and powdered. So all you have to do is add a little bit of water and then just fry them up just like you would scrambled eggs. That's it. It's like mixing up pancake batter or something. You just add water. Just add a little bit of water and pour it in a frying pan, and you got scrambled eggs, and you can't tell the difference. So you can make them yourself. All you got to do is scramble you up some eggs and cook them till they're done, and then you can put them in the oven on the lowest setting you got and slowly dry them out until you can powder them up, and then you've got powdered eggs that you can store up. Shelf life's about 10 years, something like that. And you might be oohing now, but like I say, there's times you can be picky about what you eat, and there's times that you can't be all that picky about what you eat. You know, so I find that there are some pretty good, wonderful powdered food stuffs and dehydrated stuff. Like, there ain't no telling what I might cook up for lunch if you see my videos on Facebook. You know, everybody else, they go into the restaurants and stuff. I don't mind. Look here, I discovered this right here for like $1. These are buttermilk biscuits, and they're not bad. They are pretty good, man. And just add water, you got buttermilk biscuits. Just add water, you got peppered gravy. Hey, it's cheap and it goes a pretty good ways. I mean, this makes. I think this box here makes like a half dozen biscuits, like 5 biscuits and gravy. Hey, you can feed the whole family right there, and it's pretty simple, man. Now, of course, if you if you're not that savvy with a wood stove, I've got to stand up. Pardon me. If you're not savvy with a wood stove, there is always the $20 option, which to me, hey, it's worth it. It's the old $20 Walmart Coleman stove. Now, not the propane ones, and not the ones that use Coleman fuel. This one right here just uses a bottle of. It just uses a can of butane. See that? You pop this open right here, and you put your butane can in there, and pow, it's got its own igniter, and it's real easy to use. This right here is just as easy to use as your stove eye. So this is the one that I would suggest for people because it's just simple and easy. You know, you put your can in there, mash a button, and pow, fire it right up. Use it just like your stove eye at home, and that's good enough for most people. Like I say, it costs $20 at Walmart. Not a thing to it. It's not that much. Me, myself, like I say, I like motorcycles and I like camping. So everything I do, I try to get small stuff. I like stuff as small and tiny as possible so that I can pack it up easier and get a hold of it faster and all that. So what I use, and this is one that I carry with me every single day. You'll see it in some of my Facebook pictures, but this tiny little stove right here, it folds up real small. You see how small this is, so it actually fits in my lunchbox. Pop out the legs like that right there, and then you hook up your butane can to this right here. It's got its own striker right there. You just pow, 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 see your little spark. It's never failed. I've been using it a couple years right now, just about every single day to cook my lunch at work. And it's been a good one. I like this because it's windproof. If the wind's too heavy, you got it out like that. If the wind gets picked up, just close it up, and it closes up on your frying pan. And it's windproof, so that's the only one I've found that I can cook in the wind with. So, something you might want to consider. So that right there is pretty handy. And then, other stuff, little canned diced ham stuff, little sliced potatoes. Look here, I can sit here and cook me up some ham and eggs and some biscuits and gravy, and I'm eating pretty good for less than $5. In fact, the whole family's eating pretty good for less than $5. So knock it all you want to, but you can't always be picky about what you eating. I like fried spam. Like I say, we ain't got no refrigeration, so what are you gonna do? Powdered milk. People say, ooh, it tastes nasty. Not if you let it get cold. Regular milk tastes nasty if it's warm too, but not if you let it get cold. And mixed up like they say. What it is one of those pouches makes a quart, so if you've got a mason jar, you know that you can mix it up pretty perfectly balanced and stick it in your cooler. If you got a cooler, if you ain't got a cooler, you stick it in the creek. Most of the creeks here in North Georgia stay about 40 degrees. You'll have cold milk in a little while. And that's not too bad, man. You use it for whatever you need to do. Size limit reached. I'm sorry, it just sent me a notice that said the size limit is reached on my video. Evidently 30 minutes is best you can do. So there's a few things that I was able to show you. I haven't got to show you about the electricity yet. I'll see if I can. Now, what I've got here, as far as electricity goes, there's some things that you can do. Now, the first thing I did is I found this at Walmart, and at the time, it was on clearance, and I paid $20 for it. And to me, I could kick myself in the hind end for not getting every one of them I could, because this thing is actually pretty good. It's got a pretty good battery life on it to be no bigger than what it is. And you know, it's got an inverter attached into it, so you know, if I want to hook something up, like the light bulb I'm using here, is USB powered. It's a 5-watt light. I can plug right into this box right here and turn on the juice, and I've got light, and this thing will run this light for a pretty good while, man. It'll run it. I use it a little bit every night, and you know, it takes a few days for the battery to start dropping down. I look spooky. I'm gonna turn that. Let me turn that off. And that's what's kind of light bulbs I'm using in here. Little 5-watt USB lights, and it works pretty good. I got no complaints. So the things like that, I'll tell you what I've done. Now that thing now, that little red box I just showed you, that thing now, you can plug in pretty much anything you want to, and it'll run it for a while. But say, you know, if you hook a TV to that thing, it'll run a TV for about an hour and a half, 2 hours tops. So you could feasibly watch one movie, but you better hurry up. You better not be pausing it. Now, it'll charge up your phone multiple times. It'll keep you in light for a couple days. But the thing is it takes all day long to charge that thing back up. And you can't use it while it's charging. So it will hook to my solar panel, but it will take all day long to charge it up. So if you need power during the day, that's not going to work for you. And now I think the things cost about 150 bucks. What I've done instead is I need a little bit more power than that. You know, you need some sustainable power. You need something that you can charge up a little bit faster than that. What you see behind me here is a deep cycle marine battery. I paid 80 bucks for it, brand new at Walmart. It's 114 amp hours, and it's done pretty good. I've got right here on the side of it, this is a 200 watt pure sine wave inverter that was just here at the house. I think I found it in the shed, and so that didn't cost me nothing. Now, inverters, depending on the kind you get, they can get expensive, but you can also get cheap ones that'll get the job done. It all depends on what you're trying to do with it. We're just trying to be comfortable out in the woods when we ain't got nothing. So it'll work. You can run your TV off of it. You can charge your phones. You can charge your laptops. You know, with whatever you got to do. So I've got 80 bucks right there in that. Now the power to charge it back up, I'm using solar panels, just a little cheap $120 kit. You know, I think this particular kit is the portable one that I used. It's portable, and the reason I'm using it is because it's got a charge controller that I've got sitting on top of the battery here, and it actually tells me how much battery I've got left. So I like to use it. The set I'm using, it's a fold up, which I'll put pictures of all this stuff up for you to see. It's a fold up set. I think it's 160 watts, and I've got it sitting out back here out in the sun, and it's keeping this battery pretty charged. It does what I need to do, and you know, like I say, I can watch TV all day long with this battery in it, and all night long, and those panels will have it charged right back up pretty soon the next day. It looks like that's all the time I've got on this video. I'm going to have to shut it off before this thing shuts it off for me. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm sorry I didn't get to finish. I'll try to do better next time. I love y'all. God bless every one of you. Hey, I just wanted to add, there's a lot of things that I didn't get to in this video. And like I say, it's my first time trying this little, trying to make my own clips and edit and all this stuff. It's my first time trying, so bear with me. But there were things that I didn't have time to get to. So there's going to be a part 2 and maybe even a part 3. Who knows? It might be a regular ongoing thing as we add stuff to it. I hope y'all enjoyed what you did get to see, and I do apologize that it's so amateur, and I didn't know about the time limits. There's evidently time limits to how much video I can shoot at once, and I didn't get to a lot of things, like, I didn't get to show y'all how to use these things, and I'd like to do that, and I'd like to show you how you can get your coffee pots. And just all I'm trying to do is show you some things that can make you comfortable if you find yourself out, and things that you can go ahead and start collecting up for yourself. The more you can collect up before disaster strikes, the better off you'll be. Hey, these are things that, it ain't gonna hurt nobody to have on standby just in case of an emergency. You don't know what could happen. So I hope y'all enjoy them and bear with me, and like I say, there'll be at least a part 2 and probably parts 3 and so on. Who knows? God bless every one of y'all, and I appreciate y'all watching this, and I appreciate your comments and stuff, even if you're mean to me and cuss me like a dog. It's fine. I appreciate y'all, and I love each and every one of you, and I thank y'all for watching my little amateur video. I'll try to do better on the next one. Y'all have a great evening. God bless y'all.